What is going on, everyone? Griffin here, coming at you with some Switchblade gameplay, and today we're going to be talking about the current state of Rogue Company in 2024. So let's head over and let's talk about it. So we are getting into that stale spot in Rogue Company once again, which is very unfortunate. I know that we received our last update that actually gave us an event pass back in November the 20th of 2023. That introduced canals. They brought some LTMs in there. They brought the canals to variety queue. They brought the snipers only game mode. They had a couple of changes. Canals, of course, got dropped there, if I didn't say that already, which is a very unfortunate, terrible version of a good map. That was the last battle pass that we got. And in that, or event pass, whatever you want to call it. And in that event pass, we got the Switchblades, red jacket. We've got the weird mishmash version of Dahlia skin. And we also got another Dallas skin as the legendary skin. And we got a couple other things in there, which is what it is. But that was in November the 20th of 2023. We got a small patch in December the 4th of 2023, which did a couple of issues. They fixed a couple of issues where canals was allowing people to get out of bounds, which I don't think were actually fixed. I think that they might have fixed a few of those spots, but they definitely didn't fix all of those spots. And they also fixed issues with like contracts and things like that, which is what it is at the end of the day. The most recent update that we got was on February the 19th with a small update / patch, that a hot fix more or less that came out, and that was where we got the changes with Glimpse, Scorch, Sigrid. We got a couple of weapon changes with the Maul, Knight, Boyer's Tier, and then of course the combat knife allows you to run faster, and the cluster smoke, they increase the cooldown of that. I went through all that information last week, so if you're interested, go check those videos out. I do a deep dive and give my thoughts on all of that stuff. But essentially, November the 20th, 2023 was whenever we got our last legitimate update for Rogue Company. As of recording this, it's February the 29th. It's the last day of February. It's been well over 3 months since we've got the last update. It's been, I think, over 100 days since we got the last update, right? And it's very unfortunate, and it's not good, in my opinion. The current state of Rogue Company is just not great, right? Because there's definitely things that I don't guess the developers even care, are just blown completely out of whack, that need to be fixed, need to be addressed. The main things, in my opinion, of course, are the matchmaking issues and the AFK / lever issues. I mean, I understand that you do have a smaller player base. I do understand that, queuing in different regions and different times of days and things like that affect the quality of matches that you do get. I completely get that, and I completely understand. But whenever you're looking at the current playing an hour ago on the Steam charts is 804 people, and the peak players in the last 30 days was 1,100. It slowly started to decline. If we look at the Steam charts, it went from February of 2023 with having 2,300 players at their peak player, with almost 1,500 average players playing at any one time, to 1,100 peak players and an average of 595 people. So we've basically cut, if not, we've actually done more than cut it in half, right? We've lost over 50% of the player base just based on a year ago. And you can definitely tell that with the quality of matches that you get, the quality of players that you get. Whenever you listen to people in game, whenever they're just like, bro, it's Rogue Company. Why are we taking it that serious? Bro, it's Rogue Company. What does it matter if I leave? Bro, it's Rogue Company. What does it matter if I cheat? When you hear these things in game, then there's definitely a problem with your game. And the developers don't seem to care whatsoever. It seems like they're doing everything in their power, humanly possible, to avoid giving Rogue Company the attention that it desperately needs. I know Evil Mojo took control of the property, right? And this happened almost a year ago at this point. Evil Mojo took control of the property. Ever since Evil Mojo took control of the property, we've had one character release, we've had one rework of a map released, maybe borderline two if we count High Castle Omega and Canals into that, because I think that when they took over was right on the cusp of whenever they were releasing High Castle Omega and they released Vivi, right? So it was very, very close to that. But ever since then, nothing. We haven't got anything. We've got a couple of updates. I think we've got one event pass since that happened. We've got a couple of balance changes that are, questionable at best, to be completely honest. And there's no real attention, there's no real desire, there's no real drive from the development team to legitimately do anything with the game, it feels like. And unfortunately, that's driving the player base away. The only time that you see people actively coming back to Rogue Company is when there's tournaments or there's some type of competitive thing that's happening. We all love Rogue Company, right? We can honestly sit here and say that we all love the game. We all love what the game is and what the game could be, right? We all love that. But it's not where it needs to be. The developers need to go in and have a real legitimate roadmap, a real legitimate drive to do something good and progressive with the game and make it what everybody wants it to be. Currently, they're not doing that. So you see the game hemorrhaging players like crazy. What do we want? And I know what I want. I want all of the weapons to feel good. I want all of the weapons to feel viable. I want all the weapons to feel useful for their different use cases. That's first and foremost. I want the game to be honestly, legitimately balanced. Rogue Company has never been a balanced game, ever. It's gotten very close to being a balanced game, but it's never been a balanced game. And then whenever you have these huge gaps of meta, where it's like we've got the D40 and then no longer the D40 and then we come back to the D40. We have LMPX, we have Sahara, we have KA30, we have all these different types of metas that happen. We don't need a meta. I'm sorry, but the people that think that there needs to be a meta and that a meta in a game needs to exist doesn't understand the idea of how the game design should actually be. Right? Because yes, you want people to come in and enjoy their experience, but do you want to, in the process, punish players that have been playing the game for so long because you have something in the game that one hit down someone, like the melee weapons, or that two taps someone and downs them at all ranges, like the tier, right? Do you want these things in the game that upset the balance of the game where your more experienced players can legitimately exploit the hell out of it if they wanted to? Or do you want something that's a little bit more balanced where the meta is thrown out of the game? It's all dependent on you and your play style. That's the game that I want. I want a game where the meta is my play style and what I like and what I prefer and what I enjoy to play. I don't want to have to play a specific weapon just because somebody else is using it in the match and you can't beat it. I don't want to have to use certain rogues because they have specific abilities or perks that negate certain things, like characters with tenacity against a melee heavy team. I shouldn't have to do that. Melee shouldn't be that strong to begin with, and I shouldn't have to do that. I want the game to be fully balanced. I want the game to be like I want the balancing to be done and over with, and I want the game to actively move on. We've got the Boyers. That was the last weapon that was introduced into the game. Those were SMGs. It's taking them almost a year to make them somewhat viable, but they're not really viable. Like they're almost like the Ibex, which was the previous SMG that was introduced into the game. Sure, on certain maps, on certain playstyles, on certain rogues, on certain connection speeds to the servers, you can do really good with the Ibex, and you can make the Ibex feel really good and make it look like it's something more than it actually is. But the stars have to align to make that work. With the Boyers, it's something similar to that, but not to that extreme, right? You don't have to wait for the stars to align. You just have to have a really specific play style with a very specific set of rogues that are able to do the things that they need to do with those weapons. They need to completely go back to the drawing boards on what the Boyars are. We need to get the balance of the game done and out of the way, and then that way we can move on with introducing new things into the game. New rogues, new weapons, new characters, new everything. We can't get out of this funk where we're constantly balancing the game over and over and over and over again, and introducing different metas and balancing things in different ways and introducing these weird variables into the game that cause the metas to shift. Like let's get past this hump and let's move on to where we can start actually getting content for the game. That's where I want to be. So the current state of Rogue is it's not great. We've been in a slump since November. We got the new map. We got, well, the canals rework. We got the new event pass. When's the next one going to come out? Who the hell knows at this point? It could be 3 to 6 more months down the road for all I know. Nobody's telling the creators anything about what's going to be happening with the game moving forward. All we know is that the game is being maintained. I've backed the game. I fought against the people that were saying, oh, well, it's just going into maintenance mode. They're not going to really, give that much attention to the game. I tried to fight back on that, but I was proven wrong. And I've been proven wrong many, many times playing this game and trying to defend what the developers are doing. Sure, I've been harsh. Sure, I've been very direct and very blunt, but I've also tried to defend the game and try to defend the developers. And I'm to the point now where I'm done defending the developers. They have no idea what they're doing, and they don't care what the game is doing and where the game is at and what the direction for the game is. And I'm tired of pretending like they do. They need to have someone actually come in and take hold of what the game is and lead it into the right direction. It's not hard. Everybody says making games is hard, but here's the thing, man. Any job that you have is not going to be easy. Every job has its own complications, has its own struggles, has its own set of challenges. It's a job. Do your job. Get it figured out and give us a game that we're all proud of playing, as opposed to driving this straight into the ground. But be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. What do you think of the current state of Rogue Company? Also, check that description for links to Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. Those are the places to contact me. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, then consider hitting that join button to become one of the 256 crew members. Lastly, on Thursdays and also on Sundays, I will be streaming here on YouTube. So if you are interested and available, please feel free to stop by and say hello there. Thanks for watching, guys.
Last one. Get her.
You all made that look easy.
I downed myself.
I got empty clips.
All right, let's see.
It sucks when you can't run a gun because the server is dog shit.